What's going on here? She is trying to apply for an important thing like a job or a residency status. She is shocked by the application form, which is asking for way too much information. These days, governments and corporations are increasingly asking for the moon as far as your history and details go if you need something from them. If you are not ready, it can be incredibly frustrating. But you can go from this to this. Confident. Relaxed. Having your life records ready, filling in applications, would be a piece of cake. And you can make important things happen in your life to make your dreams come true. To get ready, you need StratoProof ID, which we will introduce in this video. What if you can gain a huge advantage in life? I am talking about being efficient with your own life records. It sounds very abstract, and you hardly hear this mentioned by anyone at all. Partly because of that, almost everyone is being terribly inefficient with their own information. When you apply for things like jobs, benefits, or approvals, you have to enter your information into paper or online forms. You might have noticed that forms have been getting longer and more complex over the years. It is going to get worse, not better. So what do most people do when they have to fill in a form? They have to first hunt down their own information in their pile of paper or computer files. That's often a huge, time-consuming effort. It slows them down tremendously. Such delays can have long-term consequences in people's lives. And sometimes the effort can be so debilitating that they would give up after a while. When that happens, people are stuck. You can be different. You could manage your own information in a much more efficient way. What you need is an application designed for keeping and organizing your information easily. We offer just such an application. It is called StratoProof Identity, or StratoProof ID for short. Before I show you the application, let me mention what using StratoProof ID means for you. You can apply for many things faster. You can be more nimble in life. You can have more time to do what you like to do instead of what you have to do. You can be much less frustrated with the increasing bureaucracy in life. You can feel more complete and focused because your key information is in order. What is StratoProof ID? It is a desktop application for Windows laptop or desktop machines. For your highly sensitive data, there is a very good reason why you want to use a desktop application running on your own hardware instead of an application running on the cloud. You really don't want your highly sensitive data to be stolen from a cloud server outside of your control and made available to bad actors or the public. In this demonstration, StratoProof ID has already been installed on this computer. I will show in a different video on how to install it. It's really easy. After you open the application, you first create your own file to get started. Choose a directory with the Browse button and enter a file name. Put in your first name, last name, and birthday. Then press OK. Wait a few moments while your file is being created. It has been created, click OK. After the file is created, it would be open in the application. Next time you open the application, you can just open the file again. Let's close and reopen the application, like this. Notice the first thing that pops up after the file is open is a list of history types. You open the list by clicking on the down arrow here. Let's say you choose residences. Residences are places where you have lived. You can easily fill in the fields to create records, like this. The address is fictitious, of course. You can also add a new record like this if you need a bit of help. After a record is created, you can add attachments to it. Attachments are usually scans or photos of documents that prove your record is correct. You can toggle the attachment window with this button to show it or to hide it. In the attachment window on the right-hand side, you can add one or more image files. These files can be PDF, JPEG, PNG or TIFF files. To prove that you have lived at a place from a certain date to a certain other date, you would usually add attachments like lease agreements, the first utility bill, the last utility bill, or a confirmation letter showing your move-out date. Here I am attaching 3 utility bills. There is a number of convenience features for the attachments, like buttons for moving between images, for zooming, for printing, and for saving an image to file. Next, I want to show you a file that has already been populated with some fictitious data. Just to give you a feel of what having a good set of your life records would look like. I am not going to go over every history type, just a few that are common to almost everyone. Identifications. Here are some examples. These are examples for different people. Just imagine what it would look like with your own identifications instead. So, birth certificate, social security card, child passport, driver's license, passport. You need records like these to prove who you are. To prove that you have the right to live and work in a country. To prove eligibility for other forms of identifications. And to prove that you are allowed to be somewhere, for examples, a workplace or a school. Immunizations. You need these records for registering your child for school. By the way, you would keep your child's immunization records in his or her own file. For immigration. And for checking which shots have already been done or are still missing. Sometimes you need attachments for these records. so it is best to attach them when you have them on hand. These could be receipts from a clinic or a summary form for all immunizations done up to date from your health provider. Employments. You need your job history for applying for a new job, most commonly, and to prove that you have the experience and skill set to support yourself for immigration purposes. Schools. You need your education history to apply for a new job. To prove that you satisfy increasing education requirements for your current job. And for immigration. As far as attachments go, you would typically attach diplomas, degree certificates, or transcripts. Skills. More and more, employers want to know more details about your skills. Details like when you learned something, how many hours you put into it, and where and in which job or class you learned it. You need to keep track of these skills to apply for a new job, to understand your career options, and to know the strengths and weaknesses of your skill set, so you could fill in the gaps. Residences. Keeping track of where you lived is important for immigration. For proving that you meet requirements for permanent rights of abode in some countries, especially when the rules are complicated, for taxation, and even for nostalgia reasons. Border crossings. We tend to forget these crossings quickly. You need your border crossing details to calculate the number of days you are in a country, or even in a state, for taxation, legal, residency and immigration purposes. As an example, if you are a permanent resident of the US and you apply for citizenship, you would be asked for the details of your border crossings in the last 5 years. If you don't have an accurate history, you might have to wait a few more years while you start keeping track. Legal events. You need records of the important legal events in your life, for examples, traffic tickets, citations, arrests, police searches, civil suits, legal name change, LLC formation. You need them for immigration purpose and to answer questions about your legal history. Helpful attachments might be traffic tickets and your pleas, important court documents, etc. Friends. It is important to keep track of the friends you made, because you would want to maintain contact with your friends and keep the friendship alive. You may need to provide a list of your friends if you apply for certain government jobs that require a high level of trust. And you may need to provide names of friends for references in passport applications. It is easy to forget the names and details of friends at work because there are usually so many that you could end up forgetting most of them. But they could be key to your career later. Prescriptions. Prescriptions are a part of your medical history. You need the history to recall the effects of different medications on you, whether or not they worked for you, to track whether you have an allergic reaction to any medication, and in case there is a class action lawsuit regarding certain medications, to know when you took them and whether there were any adverse effects. Retirement contributions. It is easy to lose track of your contributions to retirement accounts like IRA or Roth IRA, especially if you have more complicated transactions, like rollovers from one account to another and reversal of overcontributions. After a few decades, the contribution details may get lost, and they tend to be scattered between many accounts or between your retirement files and your tax files. If you are making early withdrawals from your retirement accounts before you are a certain age, you might need to prove that the amount you are withdrawing is no more than the total amount you have contributed to avoid penalties. It is also helpful to know how much you have contributed for calculating capital gains. That's a short introduction to StratoProof ID. Hopefully this shows the value of the application in your life. To recap, with StratoProof ID, you can apply for many things faster and easier. You can be more nimble in life. You can have more time for other things. You can be much less frustrated with bureaucracy. and you can feel more complete and focused. Thanks for watching. Please visit StratoProof.com to download the application and for more details. We will have other videos on this channel on installation and on other features in StratoProof ID. The links are in the description.